Hello and welcome to Delivering the Experience once again. Today, we've got a very interesting topic, at least based on the conversations that we were having yesterday. And this part of the year, last quarter or organizations approaching last quarter, end of third quarter, fourth quarter, is when so many different companies start looking at the results of their employee engagement surveys, net promoter score surveys, really principally the employee engagement surveys. And every organization starts looking at those surveys. They start getting the results from the third parties that facilitate or conduct or host the details for the surveys. So, long story short, every organization starts getting those survey results back, and now is the time where every organization starts having those discussions in context of what went well, what went wrong, what we need to do, what actions do we need to think about, what ideas we need to come up with, and how do we need to execute any changes that we need to make in light of recommendations, concerns, reservations brought forward by employees. I was on one such call recently, a sort of retrospective for employee engagement survey. And one thing that stood out, I want to mention here is, and this goes to any manager of people, not an individual contributor, but well, actually also individual contributor, because if you are thinking of becoming a people's manager, then you need to be mindful about this, especially in context of feedback, especially in context of communication or discussion in light of improvement or criticism. So coming to our employee engagement surveys and the conversation we had, the call that I was part of, it was there to discuss certain items which had adverse ranking compared to previous year. So we started talking. It was a group of about 10, 12 people, and we started talking. And anytime, well, the premise was set that it is a safe space. Absolutely, it was a safe space. Everyone was free to share and express their concerns, their perspectives, their viewpoints. One thing that did stand out, and this is what I really want to hone in on. When we ask employees to share their perspective, when we ask employees to know and understand that this is a safe environment, and it is okay to communicate, it is okay to express themselves, it is okay to share ideas, it is okay to share frustrations or pain points, because we are going to look at it from a constructive lens, through a constructive lens. When we do that, when we set that premise, then we also want to be mindful of the fact that when feedback is provided, then we embrace it with open arms. Now, one such instance where a few conversations started, and for every piece of feedback, constructive or not constructive, there was a rebuttal. And the rebuttal was coming, it sounded like that the rebuttal is coming where person is trying to shield the management or shield the organization. So let's say if I say that we need to come up with a tool which facilitates not just employee growth, but also contractor growth within the organization. And maybe there are some legalities because of which there is different treatment of both. But we should be able to come up with a tool that differentiates, that has clear distinction that, okay, this is how employees are going to be trained, and this is how contractors are going to be trained, or there is a certain distinction, okay, because of certain legalities. The right way to accept that or receive that is, you know what, I completely hear your point. I understand this, but since we are not an organization like this, or since this happened in the past, this is how we do it. This is why we do it. Now, when we do this in different conversations, especially in quote unquote open spaces, safe spaces, psychologically safe environments within organizational setup through chain of command, it could be direct chain of command, it could be skip level session. When we start doing this at every piece of feedback, then holding the session completely becomes fruitless. There is simply no point of holding that session because now what we're doing is I'm asking Umer Khan to provide me with feedback. But when Umer Khan provides me with some feedback, what do? I say, oh, great point, Umer, but you know what? This is why it's done. Well, Umer Khan is going to be thinking, all right, if this is why it's done, and if you're going to just continue defending the organization here instead of receiving my feedback with open arms, then why in the world am I still giving you my feedback? Why should I really bother? So really important that when we do set the tone for an open space, open discussion, when we set the tone for a constructive, a proactive discussion, a solution-oriented discussion where we want to identify symptoms and maybe also reflect on some root causes. We embrace those ideas with open arms. Hey, you know what, Umair, this is a great piece of feedback. All right, if I may ask, or if I may take this conversation further, how would you go about it? How do you propose we take our next steps? Now that does two things. That tells Umair, that does not put Umair on the defensive. That does not close Umair down. That also sends the message across to the entire group that is on that call or in that session, if it is face to face, that, okay, not only this is a safe session, but also when we present a concern, when we present a sentiment, or when we present our viewpoint, it is received well, and our manager or our manager's manager, skip level, is going one step ahead in terms of asking us, okay, how would you go about this? Give me some ideas. What would you suggest we do? So now my skip level or my manager is actually showing faith in my understanding, my analytical abilities, my strategic tactical nuance, and asking me for recommendations. Or even if that is not correct, my manager should ask that so that it opens the door for further conversation. It opens the door for further brainstorming. So different ways of doing these things, having these conversations, instead of every single suggestion you slam it with a rebuttal, that just closes the conversation off. That just leaves a really bad taste in terms of that conversation when the conversation is about employee engagement survey and the results we received regarding that survey and how the organization can improve. The organization got those results because of certain actions, because of continuity of certain actions. And unless and until those actions, that trend is changed, those results are not going to improve all by themselves. So it really goes back to how those leaders, those managers, which there's a difference between leader and a manager, and you only understand that when you actually start working with both kind of people. A manager who's not a leader, who's only a leader by virtue of their title, and a person who absolutely is an amazing leader without a title. I would want to listen to that person day in, day out. I would want to follow that person. So, coming back to our conversation, really, really important that when we have these conversations, we want to set a certain line of conversation to facilitate brainstorming, to facilitate growth, to facilitate moving forward, to facilitate root cause analysis, to facilitate idea sharing, to facilitate discussion, and to facilitate prototyping of those discussion, moving from ideation to execution. Even if that execution happens at a very strategic level, at least we're grabbing those, we're gathering those ideas. So just wanted to share that in context of continuous learning mindset, and the name of the channel, delivering the experience, because at the end of the day, whether it is internal customer or an external customer, the experiences every time we talk, the experiences every time we interact with someone, the experiences every time we write email or conduct a town hall or an all hands, the experiences our colleagues go through determine the experiences our customers are going to have by virtue of our products and services. So everything has a trickle down effect. I want to know how your employee engagement surveys go. If your organization conducts employee engagement surveys, how do you guys talk about employee engagement survey results? What has been one of the good things that came out of your discussion around employee engagement results? Or if there is an instant that you want to share where your discussion regarding employee engagement results really went south and you just were there for the sake of being there. Do share your comments, your thoughts, and if there's anything else that you'd want to talk about. This is once again delivering the experience. Please do like, share, and subscribe as I keep bringing different topics for you guys. Once again, this is Umar Khan signing off.